in episode 124.
And I set up a session with her, and she made me over and loved the way I looked. Took some fantastic photos. And at that point, when I got to see what is a possibility, that was when I said, all right, now I'm really going to try to see this through. If somebody's happy doing something and it doesn't affect your life directly, then why do you care? And the one thing that I've always been able to come back to, that I've been able to get a smile put on my face or kind of forget about what's bothering me, is becoming Thea.
Welcome to the CrossYaas Podcast, the podcast that still says yes to everything related to crossdressing, sexuality, and gender. My name is Giselle Mirasol, and I'll be your host and guide into the world of crossdressing, sexuality, and gender. Help support the podcast by going to our website, www.CrossYaASpodcast.com, and click on our Patreon links that we've got bonus stuff for you to enjoy. Chat with me or my CrossYaas team of contributors and lovely listeners on our CrossYaas confidential Discord, which the link is also available on our website for even more support. And finally, if you enjoyed Thea's story and have your own personal story that's cross-dressing, sexuality, and or gender related, but you're like hella hesitant because you're probably thinking to yourself, does anyone really want to hear my story? Well, duh, you know me and you should know the answer by now. The answer is obviously a loud frickin' yes! Hit me up, Giselle, at CrossYaASpodcast.com, DM me on Instagram at CrossYaas Podcast, or chat me up on Discord, Rochi_Mochi #7325. Can't wait to hear from you. We've reached July, and well, it's a hot one.
Yeah. It is super hot. Yeah. It's getting real hot around here.
It's super hot in Southern California, and I'm sure it's hot where you are, and I hope you're living your hot girl summer this summer. Speaking of hot girl summer, in this Curi-YAAS conversation, I speak to Thea, a crossdresser living in the Northeastern United States, who I've been dying to get on the podcast, and I'm so happy to finally have her on. She's got quite a story to tell. I'm excited to share her story here on the CrossYaas Podcast, so no more waiting. Here's Thea. Happy listening. Welcome, Thea, to the CrossYaas Podcast. How are you today, girl, for all the people listening, the one person listening, me and you?
I am doing fantastic, thank you.
And of course, I was asked, what brings you to the podcast, Thea?
Well, first off, I should probably correct pronounced Thea.
Yeah, see, my bad. My apologies. No apologies. I'm canceled. I'm done.
That's quite okay. It's not a common name, and people are entitled to mess it up. It's thought that counts and whatnot. So, but yeah, what brings me here? I've been a listener. I stumbled across your podcast about a year ago on a trip. I won't say halfway across the country, but across a few states. I had probably about 8 hours in the car to kill. So stumbled across your podcast and banged out quite a few interviews in that time, and just got hooked. And it's a community that I am a part of, so I've enjoyed hearing from a lot of other people. You had asked me after I reached out, I found out about your interview probably about a year ago, whether or not I wanted to participate at that time, and wasn't quite ready, but here we are a year later, and we're talking.
Yay, yes. Are you dressed right now, Thea?
I am not. Can't do it a whole lot on weekdays right now. I was unemployed throughout the COVID time frame for about the past year, but had recently gone back to work, and that cuts into my Thea time.
Okay, it just sounds like you're playing with a bracelet or something. It's like, oh, maybe she's dressed right now. Ooh, is she? No?
No, just maybe tossing my hair around, but there's nothing there that's probably going to make too much noise.
Oh, darn. I thought you were wearing bracelets. Okay, all right. Well, are you, of course, the first question I always ask, so are you a crossdresser? Are you trans? Or do you think that's the same thing? Because I think it is. But what, I mean, you obviously listen to the podcast for a reason, because are you a crossdresser? Or do you have to identify as one? Mm-hmm.
Right. So we all know that it's a very wide spectrum, and I will agree with you that whether you're a crossdresser or non-binary or any of the terms kind of falls under the transgender umbrella. So I will kind of agree with your opinion of yourself, saying that you're a transgender crossdresser. I will kind of say that. Do I foresee myself going to the lengths of transitioning at this time? No, but I'd be lying if I said that I haven't thought about it every once in a while. But right now, I'm kind of content and happy within, kind of both sides of my life.
Okay, and so of course, when did it start for you, Tia? How early did you know, or was it last week or last year, or?
Well, I've been dressing for the vast majority of my life. 33 years old now, and I can remember in single digit ages, just trying to sneak on little bits and pieces from my mom's wardrobe or whatever the case is when my parents were out of the house. But when did I actually realize it was more than here's the thing, it started for me as potentially like fetish level, but it evolved to much more than that. So now it's a lot more just emotional, kind of how I just feel comfortable, and the whole like fetishizing and like sexualization of it is long in my rearview mirror. But I would say probably about 10 to 12 years ago is when I really kind of just said, what, this is kind of something that I enjoy, and I'm going to do it. And it included buying little bits and pieces of my own wardrobe, purged several times, got to the point of why am I wasting money? So decided I'm never going to do that again. And here we are now. And over the past year is when I've really started to try to accept who I am and try to work on a path of, self-love and self-appreciation, and just embracing more about who I am.
Yes. What? It's probably the pandemic, but what changed in the past year that made you be like, oh, I should probably come back to this?
Definitely having available time with the pandemic, and being, I would say, let go from my job just due to COVID protocol and everything along those lines. Just having that time. But about a year, like, again, I keep saying it, but really about a year ago, I decided that I was going to try to take things a step further. And aside from just clothing attire, I was going to try to delve into the world of makeup, which I'm very happy that I did at this point. But I had no idea what to buy, how to, match my skin tone or anything along those lines. So I didn't want to just buy random things, because makeup's not cheap.
It is not. It is not. It is very expensive. It is very expensive, especially in the higher brands. Oh yeah,
for sure. And I don't want to just get low quality stuff. If I'm going to do this, then I want to kind of go all in and try to get quality makeup. So I had reached out to a local makeup artist that specializes in crossdressers, transgender, just really the male to female makeover type thing. And I set up a session with her, and she made me over and loved the way I looked, took some fantastic photos. And at that point, when I got to see what is a possibility, that was when I said, all right, now I'm really going to try to see this through and, again, embrace more of this side of myself.
Yes. That's awesome, because you need to do that, because if you don't, what happens. Clearly, you purge and then you get scared or whatnot. I mean, what caused you to purge in the first place? What was it that made you say, "Ugh, can't do this anymore"?
It's a lot of pressure from outside influences, so to speak. So there's been a couple times just that where my parents had found the little stash of clothing that I've had, but they had kind of urged me to stop what I was doing and get rid of everything, which was very tough growing up. But always came back to it, and I'd go a couple months with, quote unquote, being fine. But then, the urge returns, so to speak, and I have to go and find something else. So slowly build up pieces of my wardrobe again, and things were found again. Get rid of it. Then I put a lock on my door, and I'm going to do things
Finally.
right. Do things behind, a locked door and whatnot, and then get to move out and do everything on my own, at my own schedule, and whatever I want to do, which is such a liberating feeling.
Yes. So let me ask you, who knows about your cross-dressing with Tia? And your parents obviously found out early, but are you in a relationship? Do your friends know now, or do you have kids, that sort of thing?
So I've never admitted to my parents. I've always, felt that deep shame, and always tried to come up with some lame excuse that we all know now was never believable.
No, they know. Your parents are not stupid. They made you. So.
Correct. Certainly not stupid, but whether they know that it's continued this far in my life, I don't know. Whether they thought it was just a phase, could be, but whatever the case, the only other people that are in my life, I literally just told the fourth person last night. So there are 4 of my friends that know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how did they take it then?
Happily, they took it all very well. I have not gotten any negative feedback from anybody that I've shared with. They took it very well. They were very supporting. They asked questions, and I just answered them truthfully and honestly, and it basically ended up with a good for you. So the
anticlimactic, right? You're like, oh, that's it, really?
Right? You're expecting it to be a whole big deal, like spend a lot of time just prepping yourself and building yourself up for it, and it just it almost falls flat. Like it was never a big deal in the first place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the first couple of people I told were people that I considered, safe bets, that I was pretty confident that they'd be okay with it. And it kind of transitioned into the fourth person, like I said, I told last night, was somebody that I truly just wasn't sure how they'd take it. But the events of the night just kind of led to it, and I just kind of dropped the bomb, so to speak, and said, this is me. And it was a big wow moment. But again, it just turned out to like, hey, you do you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And are you attracted to other crossdressers? Because I want to go into your relationship status. Are you with somebody? Have you been with someone? And whatnot?
I am currently single. I've never kind of explored Thea with another person. So I haven't shared it in any type of intimate setting or any relationship setting at this point. As for just who I'm attracted to and everything along those lines, I still have attraction to the female form. There absolutely are, other cross-dressers and, trans women and everything that I also am attracted to also, but it's definitely just the femininity, the female form that I am attracted to.
Okay. Have you, I guess, seeked out other relationships, or are you kind of just waiting for the right time? And would you divulge that cross-dressing information, to your potential dates or whatnot?
Short answer is yes. Whether it would be something that I would divulge right away, I don't know. It's something that I'm on a path of my, embracing myself and everything along those lines, and everything that comes along with me. And Thea is part of me. So I've tried to become more open and honest about that part of me. So yes, I definitely would share. Am I actively looking for a relationship at this point in time? No. To be quite honest, I just don't know if I have the time right now to dedicate to somebody else. Just life being busy and whatnot.
Okay. As they say, you're living your best life, Tia. Right?
Trying to.
As far as let's see, where you are, where are you, Tia? Like where are you in the United States? Because if you're from the Midwest, I'm gonna laugh. But
no, I am in the Northeast. I am in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So East Coast girl.
There are yeah, okay, and there are cross-dressers out there. But have you reached out to any of them? Are you on anything like online, as far as like meeting up or just talking to other cross-dressers or trans people?
Yes. So again, a lot of things have just transpired within the past year or so, but I have found a great community on Kik and the groups within Kik, and just reaching out to some people there with, again, common interest. I'm in one group that I absolutely love that is a combination between cis females, trans females, cross-dressers, pretty much the entire mix, but all under the female ideal, so to speak, and just a very supporting group. And it's active. People are talking daily, sharing photos, encouraging one another, complimenting one another and whatnot. So that's been a great group that I found there. Not necessarily local. There's people that are across the United States, a bunch of people in New York City, which is not too far from me, but I guess that's relatively local. But also there's people, from across the pond over in England and whatnot. So just a very broad range.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know what Kik is, because I know what Kik is, what is Kik? If you could describe it to someone who doesn't know what it is, or is looking for a community in Kik, what is that?
Sure. So, I describe Kik as kind of a little bit more of an anonymous messaging app where you can kind of create your own username, but you don't need to provide any personal details. So if you're still nervous or not ready to share certain personal things about yourself, you can basically sign up on Kik as whoever you'd like and message with other people individually or join groups. There's games that you can play on it, with bots and whatnot, but it's just a kind of a messaging app, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. My experience with Kik, I met some amazing people like Emma Scarlett, who was a person on this podcast or a guest, and countless other friends. My other experience is there are a lot of dick pics that are being sent through Kik. I don't know if you have that experience. Yeah, have you had that?
Sure. It certainly
Sure.
Yeah, it happens. But for the most part, if you don't have your username just publicized all over the place, and if you turn your DMs off in the groups that you join, it kind of limits that. So I haven't received one for quite some time, thankfully.
Right. Yeah, it's so weird because they come out of nowhere. You're like, did I ask for this? I don't know. Did anyone miss their dick? Did someone replace this? Like,
a lost and found poster.
Right. You're like, okay, thanks. Like, I don't know what am I doing with this? What?
So, but yeah, I found a nice community, on Kik for that. Something else that I've recently used that was kind of a stretch at the beginning and kind of a nerve-wracking thing, but again, just on my own journey, I joined up with Bumble on the BFF side. So
Nice.
we all know Bumble as
Nice.
the dating side, but
Mm-hmm.
there is also a BFF side, just people that are looking for friends and whatnot. So I had recently joined that as Thea. I have pictures up there as Thea, and it's just basically, this is who I am. I'm a crossdresser. I'm looking for a supporting community. I want friends. I want people to know who I am, unashamed, and let's go shopping. Let's do makeup,
Yes.
whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Like let's just live life.
Yes.
And I'm very happy to say that there's been a multitude of cisgender females that are on it that have been very supportive, and I've had conversations and actually met a few of them.
Oh, wow.
Not as Thea, but obviously sharing pictures and just getting to know and letting them know right off the bat that this is a part of me, and I probably will at some point present in front of them and go out shopping and everything that I want to do.
Yes. Has anything ever developed more than a friendship? Because obviously, like when you get really close and intimate with your Thea self, you would think, or at least I would think, that'd be like, oh, maybe they want more. Nothing ever happened like that, Thea?
No. I mean, that's not really, I guess, my objective on that side of things. Like I'm truly just looking for friends, and I'm not looking to find a date or find somebody to lay with. I'm truly just looking for friendships. So yeah, nothing has transpired further than just some conversations and dinner, coffee, whatever the case is, on a friendly level.
Fascinating. You are attracted to females, though, it sounds
Correct.
like, and you said you're attracted to femininity, but you're just not looking for something right now.
Correct. So I would say if the topic was broached or like brought up, or like I was being hit on from the person that I was out with, I can't say that I wouldn't reciprocate. But again, that's just not my objective for that. Like I'm not trying to, in different terms, I'm not trying to disguise my intent as friendship when I'm really looking for more. It's truly just friendship that I'm there for.
So it really does seem like you're taking this year to really explore Thea. Is that what it is? That's what it sounds like, right?
Yes. So it's been a lot of small steps this year, which has turned into one giant leap. But I'm not really trying to look back. It's continuing forward, and again, just continuing on my own journey of self-acceptance.
Very cool. That's so awesome. And you talked about looking at the sexual part, like in your far rear view mirror. What changed from it just becoming sexually like gratifying to like, okay, now we want to do something more with Thea. We want to see where this goes. What changed, really?
I don't know if I can answer that with a clear answer, because I don't know. It's almost like one day just a switch flipped, and now it was more appealing to me just in like kind of how I looked in the mirror versus trying to be aroused throughout the situation. So it could be maturity, just growing up, and it could be the very initial start of realization that this wasn't just a fetish, and everything. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I have a clear answer, to be quite honest.
And I appreciate that, because some people do fake answers, and I'm like, well, you don't really know, do you? But hey, that's a great answer. But I also bring that up because a lot of, and I hate the elitism from transgender people or trans people who say, well, crossdressers, they're just looking for it for like the sexual kink side. And I'm like, yeah, some of us might be, but like you're talking about like, oh, that was something I did in the past, but now it's like, I want to see what else is out there, right? There's more to it. And I just want to understand, like, I wish people do understand in the trans community and whatnot that like there is such, and we talk about spectrums and we talk about scatter plots, about varying degrees of where you are within that, scatter plot or spectrum. Because some of us do start with cross-dressing and some of us do start off as a fetish, and we're like, actually, no, I want more than this. I want to see what else is out there. Because I think I'm like you right now. The sexual part is like, it's fine and it's there, but it's like, I want to do more. And it's not fully, like out of the picture, because I still enjoy that part of, certain porn or certain like, aspects of the cross-dressing that makes the sexual stuff more, stimulating, if you will. But yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say we, but like the entire community has, really pushed and evolved and everything to like not live inside of a box, right? We're trying to break out and understand that it's a spectrum. It's, wide range. Everybody's a little bit different in one way, shape, or another. And that includes everybody, whether they're, as part of the LGBTQ plus community or not. Everybody is a little bit different. So why are we trying to classify people in a certain thing and say that cross-dressers are fetishists? And like, because yes, some of them are, but that doesn't say who everybody is. I had this conversation with the person that I told about myself yesterday, that this girl has a daughter, and her first reaction was like, oh, I would have a problem if a trans person walked into the bathroom with my daughter. And I said, well, why
yeah.
Well, because I don't know what they're going to do to my daughter. And I said, I'm going to tell you what they're going to do with your daughter. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Like
right.
you're classifying something that, 1 or 2 or like a very, very small number in relation to like the entire community, like have done. Like, yes, it's happened where, somebody had just had the intention of, sneaking into a women's bathroom, to commit a crime or to be creepy. But the majority of people are just trying to use the restroom. Like that's,
yeah.
There's no other intention other than that. It's go in, do your business, check your makeup, and go back out to your friends or whatever the case is. That's legitimately all it is. So, don't like classify one media story that you hear that, the media has blown up because it's a story, to say that is now related to the entire community and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna wonder, like, where do they get this story? Like, I've heard this like imaginary story or this theoretical. I'm like, I've never heard of it being a cross-dresser or trans person on a kid. Like, right? Like, I'm like, wait, what? When has this happened? I don't know.
Yeah, it's media trying to like make a story and blow up, and in a way just kind of like fear monger to discriminate against a community, which is wrong on so many levels. But like that's just the impression that a lot of people have. And credit to my friend who I told the other day, like after explaining the situation, she was like, oh, well, I guess you're right. Like actually being open to an explanation and listening rather than just being set in a certain mindset.
Look at that. Look at education working. Who knew? Who knew if we actually learned and talked to one another and not berate other people like, how dare you? Because you could have taken it the other way. Like, who the fuck told you that shit, and just started yelling at your friend like, why the fuck is this? What is wrong with you? And they'd be like, wait, no, but that's the truth. You're like, what? No, what?
Yeah. What a shock that people can actually learn and, be educated on something that they don't know about or don't understand.
Right, exactly. Because that's the current culture today, is if you don't understand something, you're going to be either yelled at or canceled, right? Like if I kept calling you Thea like the whole time, and you'd be like, well, you don't know me, you don't know my name. And I'll be like, oh, actually it's Thea. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. I wouldn't have, that helped me out.
No, it's quite okay. My whole name has kind of been a journey, in of itself. When I had kind of adopted this name, I had pronounced it Thea, which was just how I pronounce it when I first decided upon it. But after speaking with a bunch of other people and, introducing myself as, now I'm going to say Thea, that's how everybody else just pronounced it. So it was a lot of just correcting people and saying, well, it's actually Thea rather than Thea. But I've also done a little bit of education on my own, and there are people with that name. Again, not a common name, but there are people out there, and it's always pronounced Thea. And at that point, I was still just very, very early on in the name, and I asked myself, like, do I mind? Am I set on Thea versus Thea? And I had decided that it doesn't make a difference to me either way. So I'm just going to kind of go with the more popular pronunciation. And so, yeah, it's been Thea for a while now. But again, it doesn't bother me if somebody mispronounces it. Just figured I'd mention something at the start of the podcast.
Right. No, that's perfect. And the irony is, of course, I have a cousin named Thea.
Oh, really?
So it's like, oh, there's another one here. Oh, it's actually Thea. Damn it. Come on,
well,
cousin.
Forget everything I said for the last minute, because I thought that I was unique in saying Thea versus Thea. But
no, but that's the beauty though, right? Because you think like, nobody knows what you try to be different and you try to be, stuff with who you're, and then you realize actually there's this whole subset of people that have the exact same thing, which is ideal, which is kind of the thing with cross-dressing people and trans people, especially if you're from somewhere that you don't experience or see other people who have similar mindsets or similar interests or hobbies, or if with cross-dressing or being transgender, you think if the internet didn't exist or if you didn't see it on TV, you just be like, oh man, I must be the only person in the world. And then you're like, and then you go online or you meet other people, or you go to Kick, or you go to look up podcasts, and you're like, wait, there are other cross-dressers out there? Hold on. Wait a minute. Huh? This is wild.
I think we can all say that we went through that, growing up. Like, if for anybody who, had, picked this up from, a young age and whatnot, it's, the thought of, is this normal? Like, is this okay? And whatnot. Like, I'm certainly in the minority, with everything that, I'm doing and whatnot. And then you actually research it and you're like, wow, there's a lot more people that, cross-dress than I would have ever thought in my life. It's not that uncommon. It's not, that like quote unquote weird. There's a lot of people that actually do. And everybody does it for a different reason, but it's still out there. So it's like, we're not alone, so to speak, as cross-dressers.
Mm-hmm. And as trans people, there's such varying degrees of how you utilize, cross-dressing, assuming the binary, right? Being like man or woman, but same with the trans community, same with like being non-binary or gender non-conforming. You just don't know until you reach out, until you find, communities that have similar interest, which is both good and bad. It's also a double-edged sword, because sometimes you do get pigeonholed in certain communities where everyone's like, no, we have to do it this way. And you're like, well, what about this way, guys? I don't know if you experienced that in your Kick communities yet.
No, I haven't kind of been, as you said, pigeonholed or anything along those lines. Everybody's been,
good.
Pretty much open to just about everything. Which I guess I'm lucky for.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many people out there that, however, I'm going to speak to the listeners directly, like however you are feeling and whatever you're going through, like you're not alone. There's somebody else that thinks and feels the same way that you do. And it's just realizing that and finding that community and embracing it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you kind of did in the pandemic, right? You kind of were able to discover yourself and then learn about, you found the podcast last year where you're like, oh wow, there's other people out there who like talking about their experiences and doing this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you kind of have a niche thing here, Giselle, because there's not, or at least when I was searching a year ago, there weren't too many cross-dressing related podcasts. So you kind of hit a little niche category here, and
Yeah.
How many episodes
Yeah,
are
and
you
it's a
into
new
now? Like this thing has really really evolved.
thing.
So
Yeah,
um,
right. Yeah, we're at like 110 right now. I'm recording this on the 20th of May of 2021. We're at like 110, 109.
that's
But it's
awesome.
funny because yeah, it's crazy because we're a niche of a niche of a niche, right? Like it's like, all right, let's talk about trans issues. Okay, within transgender issues, you're going to go to cross-dressing. Okay, with cross-dressing, you're going to go into like gender. Like it's gender, then it's the transgender, and then it's the cross-dressing, and then it's like, and then it, like when I first started, it was like, let's just talk about the cross-dressing aspect. And then I realized, oh, I can't just focus on that because there is more, and it evolves, like you're saying, to more and more and more ideas and stuff that I couldn't just talk about like my sex. Basically, the first like 3 episodes were me talking about like, hey, I had sex with these trans people. Weird. Right?
lot of great stories. If anybody has not listened before, go back and listen. A lot of great stories.
Right. And then I'll probably get back to it because back then, right, I was still new to it. I just was like, really seriously, I just started the podcast to say, you know what? I'm going to talk about my sex stories because people will want to hear that, right? Yeah. And they did. And then I got better as like a communicator and better at the podcasting medium. So I was able to talk into a mic better instead of like a lapel mic in the freaking hallway of, I don't know, like the Sistine Chapel, basically, where you can hear me from an echo. And I didn't know how to, you could hear the stops and you're like, is Giselle done? Oh, she is. Oh, there's a beep. Is that a beep? It's the whole editing thing. So I'm better at it. So anyways, just getting back to the podcast and being able to expand or being able to, and really the quality of guests have just been so good. It's been like yourself, like just reaching out like, hey, you know what? And the feedback has just been like, hey, you're really good at this. You should continue. Would you like me to be on that? I'm like, yes. And I just want people on here to tell their stories like yourself. Like your story is so relatable. A lot of people, I think we've had maybe like 3 or 4 people from the Northeast. I don't know, but they all have such interesting stories because what you're experiencing in the Northeast, people are experiencing in the Midwest, people are experiencing in the South, people are experiencing here in the West Coast, even around the world, which is, people might think, oh, this must be just a California thing. Like, no, they have it in the East Coast too.
Right.
You'll see,
There certainly are slightly different, beliefs and everything like that in, different areas of the world and whatnot. And I'm lucky enough that, up here in the Northeast, for the most part, a very like liberal mindset and very accepting to anything that's not like quote unquote normal, so to speak. It's a little bit more accepting in the Northeast than probably it is down in the Bible Belt or whatnot, where you have people that are very religious and, it go by the Bible. Like it says in the Bible, a man should lay with a woman, and so to speak. I'm not a religious person by any means. I'm not going to downplay anybody else's beliefs or anything along those lines, but like, just let people live. If somebody's happy doing something and it doesn't affect your life directly, then why do you care?
Yeah, right. But people will find a way to make it about themselves. So don't underestimate people. They will find.
Yeah, it's puzzling. It's almost comical how people always find a way to make it about themselves. It's just let people live. People are just trying to be happy and live their own life. You don't need to tell them how to live their life.
Yeah, it's hard enough living sometimes, and now you want to throw yourself in there. Like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? Get away from me!
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited that Thea has come out and played, especially to come on the podcast. You were kind of hesitant there, which is totally understandable. Like when people listen.
I was downright fearful.
And now look at you, freaking but social butterfly. Look at you, just talking your ass off. I love it. Yeah,
anything but a social butterfly. But we'll give that impression for right now.
I mean, you're killing it right now. I'm sure people loving listening to you because, again, every listener, every guest we've had has had at least some, effect or kind of like, impression left on a listener. Like a listener to say, hey, that person, like Megan had a great thing. I relate to that part. And they're just like, thank you for that story. Because I'm like, well, no, like, thank Megan. Megan's the one who's experiencing it. And now you're just relating to it. It's like, this is why I do the podcast, for you all to understand, like, oh yeah, so-and-so had that experience. What was that like? Because I wonder, that's human nature. And that's what makes life so awesome, to like hear stories from other people being, oh yeah, wow. Sex,
And
huh? Is that what a penis is?
and,
Okay.
and it's honestly just so great to like hear the evolution with people, like having Megan back and having her from her first episode to, her most recent, just the change in confidence level and everything was absolutely amazing. And I had messaged her saying so after I listened to the episode. So just seeing that transition with people, over time and, further down their own journey and their own path, is amazing in of itself.
I mean, we're gonna have you back right in the year, and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, so I entered a pageant this year, yeah, and I did this, and now I'm like the top person on Instagram." I'm like, "All right, Thea, Jesus Christ, like, what are you?"
Yeah, let's maybe pinch yourself, Giselle, because I think you just took a nap there and you're dreaming. But
I don't know, because you heard Megan last year being the quietest person and being like, I don't know,
very timid,
and then
very
freaking
shy.
this latest episode of her. Yeah, and this latest episode of her, you're like, who the fuck is someone talking for Megan? Because is this the same Megan from last year? Like talking
Living
this
life.
shit. So don't underestimate your own self, because even in a year of talking to you since last year, you've already evolved so much, right? You've got to tell me you've evolved so much,
I definitely will
right?
say I have, yes.
Yes. And I'm sure your makeup game, like you talk about, is fucking on point now. I've seen some of your photos, girl. Some of those were filters earlier, but now you're like, okay, this girl is doing a little more. Okay. Right?
I definitely will still classify myself as a extreme beginner with makeup, but I am kind of a perfectionist, so it'll take me, probably anywhere between 2 and 3 hours to get to a point where I want to take a photo. So it's not a quick process.
Of course not. And everyone starts somewhere. No one became Picasso overnight. Everybody has their thing. And what will take 3 hours now will probably take an hour in a year. And will probably take 30 minutes in that. And then you'll just be doing it in your sleep. You're like, done. You're like, all right, yeah, jeez.
Practice makes perfect with it for sure. But yeah, I'm from how I started a year ago and, visiting that makeup artist to, kind of where I am now, like getting that first impression on what is possible and then being able to add my own touches to things and try different things and see how they look. It's just, it's fun. It's something that allows me to put a smile on my face. And, just jumping into a slightly like deeper topic, I do struggle with things like depression. Like, honestly, probably a lot of us do at times. And the one thing that I've always been able to come back to, that I've been able to get a smile put on my face or kind of forget about what's bothering me, is becoming Thea.
Yes, yeah. So it's a stress reliever too. Is that when you do transform, or is this become like a weekly thing, or when do you become Thea?
So I kind of go through cycles. So I'll hit a period of time where, I just all about it, and every single thought in my mind is Thea, and I will want to be dressed at every moment of the day. I'll come home and just put a little bit of makeup on just for no reason whatsoever, and just be all about it. And that'll kind of last for a few weeks, and then that kind of starts to fade, and now I'm not dressing every single day. Now I'm starting to dress like every other couple days. Then it turns into like once a week, and then I kind of go through a period of time where Thea almost isn't a part of my life. And then all of a sudden, like the cycle starts back over. And, this is all probably over the course of a couple months from, start to finish of that cycle. And it's just embracing it when Thea's around and in my mind, and then just living life, when like she's not around, so to speak. But yeah, it's just I've gone through that cycle, come to recognize that that's what it is. And it's not that I follow that like to a T or whatever and say that, okay, now like this week Thea's not around, so I can't indulge in any part of anything that's like considered feminine. It's if I get the urge, like I'm going to do it. But that's just generally speaking, that's kind of how things have transpired for a while.
Okay. Now, do you get gender dysphoria at all? Whenever you see Thea at all in the mirror when you're all dressed up, it's not like, well, I need to do this more often, or is it sort of just like, well, this is fun for now, or is it stress reliever like you're saying, and this is okay?
So I read a little thread on Twitter not too long ago, and it was kind of the difference between gender dysphoria and gender euphoria, and it hit home. So I wouldn't say that I have any gender dysphoria, but certainly gender euphoria. So like when I see myself, as Thea, like it's puts a smile on my face. Like I feel happy, a ton of, serotonin flowing through my brain, every electrode hitting, like I'm just all about it, in a great mood and everything along those lines. But gender dysphoria, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
So it just going into a little bit, deeper with that. It's, like gender dysphoria has always been, kind of a like quote unquote symptom, of transness and everything. But, euphoria, just feeling happiness when your body matches your gender. So like it could be men growing a beard. It could be women having smooth skin, like just something that makes them happy, so to speak. But I'm trying to think of the analogy that was utilized, because again, it made all the sense in the world. And I want to say it was something about like relating your career. So like if you're an engineer, like you don't hate being an engineer, but it has its perks. There's good things about it. Pays good, whatever the case is. But your family's engineers, you just fell into that, but you've come to not enjoy it. And let's just say you wanted to be like a musician, but you'd never played a musical instrument before. But when you try it and everything, you just feel happy doing it. And being an engineer is kind of what almost fits you, like how you should have almost fallen in, given no outside interference or whatever. Just your whole family you're good at math, whatever the case is. Like that's the career that fits well for you. But again, you don't enjoy it. You enjoy being a musician.
Okay.
And I don't remember everything, but like that whole thread was amazing. I'll share something on my Instagram page, which I'm sure you'll share with people so people can look at it. I definitely recommend people looking at it, because it just made sense.
Yeah, they'll harass you there. Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds like pretty spot on. Obviously, we all just try and do what is expected of us from society, and then when it's just kind of tough, when your own like mental, like not capacity, but your just mental well-being is kind of like, no, we need to do this. This is way better. Why don't we do this? But you're like, no, society's telling me to do this. My family's telling me to do
what
this.
Makes you happy.
Like,
that's the bottom line with it.
Yeah. Although that's hard, because happiness is fleeting, right? It's not always like, the thou or this too shall pass sort of thing, right? Like there's always you shouldn't be too sad or too happy, because it always just reverts back to homeostasis, this like line of normalness. So whatever normal is, but I totally agree. Be happy and be yourself, I guess is the best way to put it, right?
So yeah, just again getting back to the question, it's a lot more of just gender euphoria when I see myself in the mirror, makeup on, outfit on point, just I'm happy. It's not seeing my male self in the mirror and just kind of instantly being depressed and saying like, this is not me, or anything along those lines. That's not something that I had struggled with or have struggled with.
For sure. That's good. I mean, you're lucky because a lot of people actually do, as you've heard on the podcast and other guests tell their stories. But it's good to have that opposite where you're like, no, I've never had that. I'm great by myself. This is awesome. Because there are those stories of people who are lucky like yourself who, again, don't have to go through gender dysphoria and just have the gender euphoria, which is a good thing. A good thing, I would say.
Right.
What do you like to wear? Yeah, like what is your go-to outfits? Because I'm sure you have a closet full of crap. But what crap do you like to put on?
I sense that being the next question. We're just on the same mind wave here.
We know, girl. We know. It's like, okay, all right. What crap do you put on? Huh? Identify yourself.
My whole goal and everything when I am Thea is just to blend in. I don't want to draw attention. I don't want, if I do go out, which I have gone out a couple times in public, I don't want somebody to, have the like, oh, damn, look at her in like a positive, attractive sense. I don't want to draw that. But at the same time, I don't want somebody to say like, oh my God, is that a guy in a dress? I want to blend in. I don't want to draw attention to myself whatsoever. So my style is just super casual, day to day, nothing flashy. Just, if it's like jeans and a top, like that's good. So I don't have a huge wardrobe by any means. I certainly need to expand it quite a bit. Have a couple, go-to things, but yeah, my wardrobe is not crazy and it's nothing flashy.
Okay, well, where do you shop? Where do you get your outfits from?
Well, it's been kind of tough within the past year, with COVID times and fitting rooms being closed and everything along those lines, and just trying to avoid public areas and whatnot. So a lot of things have just been purchased online through Amazon or whatever the case is, and going through the try on at home and then send it back and ask for another size, and that whole hassle.
Such a hassle.
Yeah, tell me about it. But yeah, it's majority of stuff has been just online. I mean, I purchased a few things in store, in person, and whatnot, but the majority of my wardrobe has just been online purchases. If I do go out, it's
okay.
I've picked up things from anywhere from Goodwill to Kohl's to Walmart, whatever the case is. I don't necessarily have a favorite store.
Okay. Have you gone out in public as Thea yet?
So I haven't gone out like, to a bar or, had a night out or anything along those lines. But I have just gone out and like gone for a walk in a public park. I've gone to Target dressed. I've just got in my car and just went for a drive. But I haven't just gone out and like gone to a bar or anything along those lines. But that day will come.
And what do you think it will take for that day to come?
Just being in the right mindset and kind of psyching myself up for it, and feeling confident and just in an overall good mood, and having a friend or something that I've shared this side of me with that is encouraging and supporting, and somebody to go out with. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of when.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it, and we're going to have you on the podcast again, and you're going to be like, yeah, it was fine. It was an amazing experience. Whatever. It's like, yeah. Yay.
I'm sure
yay.
It'll be, not non-exciting, just, normal, nothing really to report about. But that's kind of a good thing too. it's a no news is good news type thing.
Well, it also sounds like you're not a person who like seeks that kind of, I mean, you might, I guess, those kind of like crazy adventures. Some people do. You're just like trying to go about your day as Thea. You're like, no, this is fun. This is, you're very like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying
That's
to
cool. Yeah.
live a normal life. I'm not trying to, I'm not really trying to be a different person, when I'm Thea. I'm just going out and I'm dressed different. That's really the only thing. I'm still the same person. I still have, same interests and hobbies and everything along those lines. It's just I'm dressed as Thea or I'm not. That's literally the only difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you don't have a different personality as Thea. You're just Thea, male, female mode Thea.
Right. Yeah, it's
with a dress.
And again, the only other difference is like which bathroom I'm going to end up using. Which again, I'm not looking to interact with anybody in there. So that's you're not trying to put those kids, leave the kids
right?
alone.
I get it, yes.
But yeah, it's only a matter of time as to when I like go out to a bar or like have a a night out, as Thea. Like it's going to happen. It's just when I have the time and everything just clicks, and again have a friend to go out with.
So I have to ask, though, one of the more contentious questions for cross-dressers or trans people. Do you believe in passing privilege? Is it important? And do you have it? It's three questions in one. About that.
So like yes and no. Exact answer you wanted, right? Yes and no. Not non-committal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Love it. Yeah.
Me personally, like if I go out, I'm going to make every effort to pass. And again, my whole intention is just to blend in. I don't want to draw attention, on either side. I just want to blend in. So yes, I want to pass, and I think I do, and that's truly what matters. Like what I think, not really what somebody else thinks. But again, to each their own. If you don't pass, but you're still confident and you're still going to own it, and you want to just have a good time, like go have a good time. That's so again, my personal belief and everything doesn't have to fall on anybody else. I certainly do want to pass when I go out publicly, but I don't think that that's a necessary thing that everybody has to fall into that.
Yeah, and I also feel like you're a person of confidence. Like you're very, you know what you want. I know you may sound, you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm really shy. I'm like, no, you're not. You know what you want. You're very, you're gonna get it. Like you said, you're a perfectionist. You're gonna make it work. Yeah. I don't know if you believe me.
I feel like I have you fooled here, Giselle.
You got me and all the 4 listeners.
Come on, give yourself credit.
Yeah, you're doing great.
4.
6. Fuck, 6.
Well,
okay.
Well, it's going to be 6 because it would have been 7 if I wasn't on this one.
That's true. You're right.
No, I'll still listen to my own, so you're going to be at 7.
It's perfect. Yes, I need those. I need that 7th person. It makes me feel better. So, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, again, you feel confident. You seem confident. I don't know, or you're a good liar, which is both great attributes for someone who's looking for a potential mate in the future. So, I don't know.
No, it's honestly just how you feel, and if you can be confident in that moment, and psych yourself up, and just kind of be okay with who you are, and just again own a situation, then you're fine. I definitely suffer with confidence issues, but there's times when I just feel confident, and I'm gonna own it, and I'm gonna live up to everything and live my best life. but that's kind of the minority of the time for me, unfortunately, right now. But working on it.
Yeah. Again, we're not expecting you to be, social butterfly tomorrow, which I think you already are. But we're working on it. We'll get there. Like Megan, we'll work on you like Megan.
It's it's a process. It's small steps to make giant leaps. That's what it is. So there's a few things that I'm working on, and again, I will agree that I've made a lot of strides within this past year, and that's only going to continue.
And I am all for it. A girl, like, do your thing. Like, I've already seen some of your photos. I don't know. You're looking great. I mean, you're going to post more, I figure, right? You got to post more, right?
Eventually I will. The next time that I glam up, I'll certainly take a few. So I haven't been the most active one in regular photo posting, but there will be more.
And is this going to take some time? Is that all it needs?
It's time. Again, it's just getting into the right mindset. Just feeling myself, and again, being confident, and having the time to put into myself. Like I said, it's not a short process, and working on this mug of a face that I have.
And we all have mugs. It just depends how you paint it, right?
Yeah, it's not the greatest canvas, but at the end of the day, we do what we can with it.
I mean, makeup does wonders, and makeup did okay to my face, so I'm sure it's going to do gorgeous things to your face. And you look great already. I've seen some of your photos. Yeah, and people love filters. I don't know what your thoughts on filters are, but like, do you think you need them still, or do you feel like you're just going to start posting them? Like, what do you think?
I'll toss a filter on some photos, and then like I'll leave some without, and it's kind of a love-hate with filters. Like, they're always going to make you look a little bit better, but it's taking some of the authenticity away, and kind of embracing some of the flaws that everybody has. There's this stigma about self-image, and everybody that has to be completely perfect, and perfect is unattainable, so you're going to use every single thing that you can to try to get you closer to what you consider perfect. And filters are going to make your photos look better, but like I said, you lose a little bit of authenticity, and embracing those minor flaws that we all have.
Yeah, I mean, we all are our worst critics. I've said it before. And so anything that we think is like, oh my God, that's the worst thing ever. Everyone's all like, wait, what? You had a blemish? Where? I didn't see it. I missed it. Can you point it out? Because I don't.
You're the one that's staring for 2 hours in the mirror trying to, correct something that nobody else is going to pay attention to, or nobody's sizing up your entire face for hours on end trying to find some type of flaw.
Yeah. We're all flawed human beings. We embrace our flaws. The ones who embrace their flaws seem to do way better and are more confident.
You should embrace your flaws. Like, that's what makes you human.
I agree. And I don't know, girl. I mean, that's why, like you said, with the love-hate relationship with filters, it's like, then everyone becomes the same, or becomes kind of like, this like chiseled face and all this like weird, I don't know. It just looks, it's like softer features. It's like, I don't know. Not everyone has that.
I mean, and again, this was, kind of starting because I think it came out right around the time, or, maybe just before I went for that makeup lesson I've mentioned a few times, that filter on Snapchat it's the My Twin one. So it'll, kind of revert you into a female, and then there are ones that'll show you a guy, and then the ones that'll show you, old and whatnot. Just utilizing that one also, and kind of, again, it's a filter, but it's like wow, I can actually look like this presenting female, type thing. That one was a little bit of a, I guess, confidence boost or whatever, just saying like that's possible with the right makeup and everything. Maybe not to that level, but at least close.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm super excited that you came on the podcast because I can look back on how scared you were, and I'm gonna revert back to this when I have you back in a year or less and see how much again you've evolved, and you're gonna laugh at this and you're gonna hear yourself and you're gonna be like, "What was I scared of?" Right? Like, what are you scared of? I don't know. How do you feel now after being on the podcast for an hour?
I mean, it's been
talking to me.
It's been kind of what I expected, and again, a year ago I wasn't ready for this, but where I am in my journey and kind of sharing just with other people, a little bit more about myself and everything, like it's just another conversation. There's the fear of, oh my God, is somebody going to listen to this podcast that, I'm like not out to as Thea, and are they now going to recognize my voice, and like, is this blowing my cover, so to speak? Like that's always a fear. Same thing with any type of like social media. Like, is somebody going to stumble upon, my social media profile? But the reality is, like, if somebody does, that means they were looking for it. So like there's some type of, interest or curiosity on their end. So it's like, why be afraid of it? Just go for it.
Totally agree. Before I end on my last question I ask everyone, but you were on the podcast. Do you recommend other people to be on the podcast, like to do what you did? I don't know.
I think that goes unsaid at this point. I definitely do recommend. Again, a year ago when you had asked me, it was, oh, no way, not a chance. And then here it is. Like, I caught you like right after your little break that you took, and it was like, hey, are you still interested in doing an interview? And you were all about it, and so here we are. So yeah, if there's no reason to be afraid. Just it's a conversation that we're having, right?
And it's easy. I'm not gonna. There's no gotcha questions. I don't say, "What were you doing?" To your wife and this, and you're like, "What? Why was that?" You're like, "What? How do you not do that to your mother?" Or like, I'm like, "What? Why would I ask those questions?" I don't. People get so scared. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask those questions. Like, unless you want me to. But like, what are they? I'm not here to, for the shock factor. And although some of the things have been said in certain interviews that has been shocking, but that's not what I was going for. Like, whoa. Those are all.
Yeah, I mean, I turn around and like I'll say that I'm not the most interesting person. Like, that's kind of the opinion that I have of myself. But you
which you're a liar
it before. Like,
okay.
I've heard different things on different guests that you've had that have kind of resonated with me, and there may be things that I've said here on this podcast that resonate with somebody else. So if it helps one person on their journey and kind of allows them to look at things from a different way, or help them, on a path to acceptance or whatever the case is, then like it's all worth it, right?
I agree. And if you're going to love all those other guests there, you're going to love this one. By the way, it's you.
Well, we'll see when you get it up and I take a listen, and my face will probably just turn beet red, and I'll be embarrassed. And hey, would you mind taking this down, please?
Yeah, exactly. Can you erase second 001 to 1 hour and 10 and 48 seconds, please?
Yeah, just get rid of the whole thing.
And it's like, that's like, you motherfucking bitch. You made me edit all that. You're like, yeah, you know what? I'll just go ahead and delete all of it. Yeah. Thanks. That was great. It was an awesome interview.
Thank you for wasting all my time that I spent on getting this up.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. If that's what that's the thing. If you don't want me to release this, I won't. I really won't.
Completely fine.
Okay. Cool. You heard that. You heard that here. I'm saving that part, and I'm going to play
there
that
you
for
go.
you if
there
you're
you go.
lying to me.
No. Consent given to post.
Yeah.
Verbal
yes. You heard that.
Verbal
bitches.
consent.
You heard that. Call my lawyer. Call my lawyer. I like it's like an advanced directive. Like I'm gonna, for some reason, you're relaying all your like power of attorney to me. I'm like, what the fuck? No, I'm just gonna release it. It's fine. It's fine. But that's the thing, right? Because that fear of yours is what I don't know exists, and that's what a lot of guests might feel too, like you did. And that's why I'm always trying to like make sure that you're totally people understand that this doesn't have to happen. Like I can delete it. So I'm just putting that out there anyway.
It's definitely not something that anybody has to do to be a guest on your podcast or anything along those lines. It's frankly, it's not going to be for anybody, but for those past guests that have just wanted to share their story, like their stories have been entertaining, and hey, why not share my story too? So that's been my thought process right now. So that's where we are. So
yes. And again, when you become this humongous, like big star cross-dressing person from New England, from the East Coast, and you're just like, that was where I started. Look how big I like, and you're going to look at this and people are going to hear this and be like, that's where they started. Wow. They're going to be like, oh man, look at her. So it's just going to be great to see
all those
evolve.
listen numbers that, are going to come to your podcast afterwards and everything. So my star power drawing everybody to your podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly. Hey, again, be careful what you wish for, because you're going to be upset when I get all 18 listeners on this episode. It's going to be insane. I'm going to triple my previous, 18. There you go. That's tripling. I'm going to put that. That'll be the slogan. Tripled numbers from Thea.
Just
like, whoa,
blowing up now.
Seriously, exponential rise.
Number one on the podcast charts.
Yes,
there you
my
go.
podcast charts 18. Anyways, I'll stop rambling on because I know it's late over there. It's almost 10 o'clock. That's almost bedtime for you, right?
Yeah,
it's 33-year-olds.
It's an old body that I'm living in. So dinner at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right,
for sure.
Early bird dinner at 3
with my grandparents and whatnot. Like I'm right there with them.
Of course,
but no, we're good.
Nice. Okay. Well, anyways, I always end my interviews and my Curi-YAAS conversations with the grand question. I'm sure you already have an answer to it. I've already heard it, but I'm sure you'll have maybe a different answer to it. But in a perfect world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender, what does that look like to you? Yeah.
So I've thought about a long answer and like how I can elaborate on an answer for this, but I just keep coming back to 2 words, and it's just complete acceptance. So that's
great answer.
That's all I really ask for, and I think that's all we should just ask for as a society, is just accept people for who they are and whatever makes them happy. And as I mentioned earlier, like if it doesn't affect you in your day-to-day life and doesn't affect you personally, why do you care what somebody else does and what makes them happy? And again, people will be selfish and find a way to make it about themselves, but it doesn't make it right or okay. Just people should live their life and not be, in fear of, danger or people talking about them or, whispering. Just go about your life. I
mean, that's one of the best answers I've heard. I mean, it's the latest answer I've heard, so that's always the best answer. So thank you. I mean, yeah, there's no complete acceptance. That's all you need. Fuck everyone else. Do your own thing. I mean, yeah. What if you're not pissing anyone off?
You don't have to piss somebody off. It's just like, why is somebody so concerned about what somebody else is doing? That's puzzling to me.
Agreed. People, again, always want to make it about themselves for some reason. You're like, this has nothing to do with you, Mom. Just kidding.
Megan's mom, right? Come on, leave her alone. Leave her alone.
Yeah, Megan's mom, man. Leave her be. Jeez. I don't know. Anyways, girl, amazing. I'm so glad you came on the podcast. I'm just like enthralled and just super fucking exuberant, happy you were able to tell your story. Girl, do you want to give any shout outs to your Instagram page or any shout outs to those, any of your socials?
Sure. I mean, first I'm just going to say thank you for having me. You know, it's always great just to, you know, talk about myself, right? But no, just, you know, share my story. Again, a year ago, I was afraid. I didn't want to have this conversation, but, you know, I've basically said the same thing to a bunch of people over the, you know, past year. A lot more even. I mentioned those people that I've met on Bumble BFF. Like, I've had pretty much the same conversation with a lot of different people, and like, it's just what I enjoy, what makes me happy. So thank you for this platform and everything. I mentioned Twitter. I don't really use Twitter too often. I'm not going to post a whole lot there. But Instagram could be somewhere if somebody wants to reach out. I believe right now it's set to private, but that kind of fluctuates back and forth. But it's thea.rose_CD.
Mm-hmm. And Thea spelled THEA.ROSE. Just to, you know,
correct.
If everyone's confused about Thea's spelling.
ROSE_CD.
Yes. Well, prepare for the hundreds and thousands of messages. You'll probably get 3 or 4.
So 3 or 4 more than I get on a daily basis right now. So, So yeah, send over questions, whatever people have.
Will do. Yeah. Yes, and message you, and they'll be harassing you about stuff. So, but thank you, girl, so much for being on the podcast. You've been amazing. Yes. And nothing else to say.
Again, thank you again for the platform. Yeah. You know, great job with the podcast. I absolutely love it. Glad I just stumbled upon it by accident, you know, a year ago, but loyal listener on my end, and glad that I'm now kind of part of the CrossYaas Podcast family.
Lore, yes, you're part of the lore. You will be back. I always recommend, if you want to join the Patreon, you can if you want to, but also understanding if you don't. But it's there. Help us out, support us. You're an amazing, girl. I'll send you some Q&A questions, and I'll edit this soon. And I'll maybe get back to you within the month of some edit.
Whenever you have time.
But, you know, I'll get you, girl. Anyways, love you, girl. Right. Good night.
Bye.
Get some rest. Bye. And finally, the miscellany.
Yes!
And that was my Curi-YAAS conversation with Thea, and it was another fun one. So funny that I couldn't say Thea's name right, but I got there eventually. I'm glad she corrected me because, you know, our names are important, and it's a good thing to be upfront and let people know that they're saying it wrong. But I'm glad Thea was able to come on the podcast to tell her story. And if you are hearing her story and don't want to tell your story just yet like she didn't, well, don't worry. I'll be waiting until you're ready. You know how to reach me. Email me, Giselle, at CrossYaasPodcast.com. DM me on Instagram at CrossYaasPodcast, or chat me up on our Discord, because I'm really excited to hear from you. Seriously. But that's all. Remember, nobody cares, so do whatever you want, wear whatever you want, within reason, and I'm here to help you succeed, so let me know what you need. Because I love you, you know? And if you know people who need some love or can benefit from this podcast, share this podcast with them. Tell anybody and everybody about this podcast, because I want to help as many people as I can with these episodes, so yeah, go tell someone. That's it, though. Have a great day, and until next time, as always, keep it fresh, stay blessed, and remember, you're gorgeous.